Okay, let's move on to topic 4, which is Sam's topic. You want to talk us through it?
Oh, sure. So yeah, I came up with the idea of maybe just kind of talking about like the first half of 2019. I think a lot has happened, and there's been I mean, I can only really talk about from opinions said in the Discord, but there's been a lot of negative thoughts, I think, of the year. A lot of people are kind of going like, "This is one of the worst years in K-pop," and it's just been like disappointment after disappointment after disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it'd be fun to kind of just look back on the year, talk maybe about some of the positives, some of our favorite songs, favorite albums. So yeah, so pretty much what we're doing is we're coming up with 3 of our favorite songs, title track or B-side. I think we mostly stuck with title tracks.
Yeah, I did all title tracks.
Yeah. 3 of our favorite albums or minis, and then 3 of the biggest surprises. So not necessarily music related. It could just be like in general something that happened that we were really surprised about. 3 of the biggest disappointments. So same kind of idea. And then one thing we're looking forward to in the second half of the year.
Yeah, so I was thinking do you want to do this in reverse order, where reverse review order. So Sam, you can start, and then I'll go, and then Baron.
Wait, no, let me go last because
go
I
last?
put more than 3, and I was just gonna eliminate anything that you
Okay.
guys said.
Okay.
I had a lot of trouble.
Okay. Well, okay. So we'll do me, Baron, and then you. But what I was thinking is we'll do I'll do my favorite songs, Baron's favorite songs, your favorite songs, and my favorite albums that way.
Yeah.
So my 3 favorite songs, 2 of them are obvious, especially if you hang out in Discord, and the third is kind of a surprise. So the first one is APink's Ung Ung. It's the most obvious choice. Is my 11 for our first 3 months of the year song rating. I think the whole year started out really strong with this and a bunch of other stuff, but this song stood out so much because APink doesn't only recently started getting into this more like mature and like, I don't know, sexier, sensual, like slower songs, not like fun poppy cute songs, and I think this song with the synths and everything was fantastic. My next song is Wiki Miki's Picky Picky, because this song is one of my most played songs. I love this song. It's definitely my favorite Wiki Miki song. It's one of my favorite IOI branch songs, period. I thought they did a really good job with this comeback. It's catchy, it's fun, it's got some really interesting synth parts that threw me off in a good way. I think the music video is fantastic too. Just overall, one of my most listened to songs. And then my third one, which might surprise some people, because I initially hated it, is Everglow's Bonbon Chocolat.
Wow.
I hated this song when I first heard it, and it has grown to be one of, if not my most listened to song of the year so far. I put this song on repeat so much after growing to love it. So yeah, it was tough to pick a like actual song. I also I know you did this too, Sam, where I kind of split my songs away from my albums. So like none of these songs are my favorite albums. I mean, 2 of them are from single albums anyway, and so like obviously those aren't maybe my favorite song or favorite albums with only 2 or 3 songs. But yeah, it was hard to pick just 3. I knew the first 2 100% were those 2, like Ung Ung and Picky Picky were definitely my top 2. But I had to give it the shout out to Everglow just because of how much I listened to this song on repeat. What do you got, Baron?
So also mine is not going to be surprising if you've been in the Discord. My favorite song is One Us Valkyrie.
Stream Valkyrie.
It's an amazing song. Like I loved it the instant I've heard it, and it's still my song of the year at this moment. There's just amazing like instrumentals, amazing vocals. It's like a really impressive debut from especially a boy group, just because like not really the biggest boy group fan. Amazing. Second song, APink again, because it's an amazing song. And I've actually noticed like the last few years, there's a song that comes out in January that ends up being one of my favorite songs. So like this year it's going to be APink. Last year it was Momoland.
Oh.
Yeah. I love Momoland.
Bad Boy was February.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a couple years ago, it was Girlfriend's Rough. Like all those songs came out like the first week of January, and then they ended up lasting all the way to the end of the year.
Mhm.
So that's good. And then my third song, which won't be surprising either, is a B-side. It's Oh My Girl's Checkmate. Um, I it's like the last song on the album, and I already spoiler alert, it's gonna be my favorite album too.
Oh yeah.
um, it's an amazing album, and it starts out really strong. All the songs in the middle are amazing, and then at the end you get Vogue and Checkmate, and those
Mhm.
songs are just so fantastic, and it's such a fun B song. It's one of my favorite girl group B sides ever, and it's definitely gonna be in the top 3 or 5 at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I also had Ung Ung by APink.
Woo! Even though you
I
said you
chose
were gonna
that.
remove stuff that we had.
Well, no, that's for like the later things. The later
okay,
things.
okay.
For the songs, I tried to pick 3 songs. I pretty much did like a title track,
Cooper stuff.
maybe not as well known single, and then a B-side. Because when I was going through like my favorites, it was like all B-sides that I really wanted to have in the top 3. But I was like, I should pick songs that people know, I guess. I didn't want to be like
Mhm.
completely like, what are these songs? So yeah, I said Ung Ung. The second one, I did Angel by Chancellor featuring Taeyeon, because I have listened to this song so many times. Like,
really
it's not
good
as well known because it's not like a group, but their voices together is just so good. It's a ballad. It's not like a ballad, but it's really good. I really love that song. And then my last one's a B-side, and it is my most listened to song of the year. So I was obsessed with it when it came out, and it's Luna's "Where You At."
I almost put it on the list. That
I
almost beat
in
Bon
like
Bon Bon Chocolate.
I re-listening to it, I'm like, I still love this song. Like, I get goosebumps when I
Yep.
listen to it. I think their
Same.
vocals are incredible on that song. I love it. So
Yep.
that's my top 3. And yeah, these aren't like my official top 3 because I didn't include songs that are on my favorite albums
Mhm.
in the next part.
So no, oh my girl.
So
Spoilers.
spoiler alert: Luna is not in my top 3 albums.
Cooper did leave us his favorite songs and albums. He didn't leave us other stuff, but his favorite songs are NCT 127's Superhuman, and then Everglow, Bon Bon Chocolat, and APink Ung Ung. So
On
2
brand.
of the 3 of mine.
The Ung Ung Sweep.
Yeah, Ung Ung Sweep, because it's definitely one of the best songs this year. I don't know why.
And then it doesn't win the Daebak Awards song
Yeah,
of the year.
definitely not.
Wait,
Never
what
will.
song? What song did win?
No, next that would be next year.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
next
Yeah.
I'm just saying it won't win.
It won't
I
win.
gotcha.
Their
Yeah, yeah.
awards never make sense.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what Jacob and Andrew are gonna vote for. I don't know. I don't know if it's actually my song of the year right now, but it's up there. We'll see.
There's still a whole
Honestly, it
second
might
half
be
of the
my
year.
mini album of the year. Probably not, but it's not on my favorite mini albums because I put that song on my song list. It doesn't make any sense, but whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go to my albums then. My first favorite album is Eyes One's Hard Eyes. I listened to every song on this album a bunch. I love this song, or this album. I think doing what they did with La Vie en Rose again with Violetta was a good idea, because I think they did a really good job, and I think they took it and just tweaked it enough to where it's different enough, but it's still really good. And then all the songs on the album, they just hit like the perfect vibe for that group. There's just there's fun stuff, there's like acoustic ballady stuff, and I think they all do them all really well. It's a really good second album from this group from Produce 48, and I think the first album was really good too. It was a really good follow-up. Next, I have Oh My Girls of His Season, which I think all 3 of us will have on there. When we reviewed it, it's definitely definitely the best full album of the year. I don't know if I have it above some mini albums. I'd have to think about that more. But yeah, easily the best full album. Easily Oh My Girl's best album. Just really, really good comeback from them. And we've talked about that a lot. You can go listen to my review to hear my thoughts. But obviously gave it a 10 out of 10. I gave all 3 of these albums 10 out of 10 because it'd be weird if I didn't. Considering how many albums I give 10 out of 10, I think I could pick 3 of them to be on this list. And my final album is Taemin's Want. Taemin came back with another follow-up to Move, and I thought it was really, really good, and I love the mix of like house and just like that like really dark vibe to the whole album. I think it all worked really well together, and it was all fantastic. And Shadow's one of my favorite songs of the year, from that mini album.
Okay, so as I alluded to previously, favorite album without a doubt, "Oh My Girl," the fifth season. I want to like reemphasize how much I love this album, in saying that last year was kind of maybe a disappointing year for me. This is definitely my favorite album from a K-pop group since like I use Palette in 2017. So it's been like a full 2 years since I
Wow.
heard an album this good. Eunice is very good, but I think this is better than Eunice. Eunice was my album of the year last year. This, I think it's gonna end up like probably like top 20 or 25 on like my all-time album list. And like it single-handedly converted me into an OMG stan. So like it's really fantastic. All the songs are amazing. The lead single is amazing. Music video is amazing. Like I have no complaints whatsoever about this album. It's just fantastic. My second favorite is Bake Urine's "Our Love Is Great."
Yeah,
Like
that's a good one to shout out.
10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I really like female soloists, and it's just got like beautiful vocals, beautiful instrumentals. It's just such like a relaxing album to listen to. Amazing. And then my last one, kind of surprising maybe, is Trey's Born EP. So I still don't know anything about this group other than that I really like this album. But people were talking about it, mostly Sam in Discord, like, hey, listen to this. It's really good. And I listened to it, and it's amazing. Like, all the songs on it are fantastic. Several of the songs made it onto, like, my top of the year list. I've streamed this a ton of times, and they need more recognition because this album is so good.
Yeah, so my list is very similar. I've got Oh My Girl's the fifth season. Obviously, I am a huge Oh My Girl fan. Like, my list feels very biased, and it probably is. But
I mean, you asked for our favorites. That's what literally what bias means. Like,
I know, but like, I really feel like this album just delivered. It's so
100%.
good. I love Oh My Girl. Please look into Oh My Girl if you don't know Oh My Girl. Like, even if you're like not into like cute girl groups, like they are just like a different cute girl group to me. I don't know. I really love them. I think they're so good, and they change it up, but they're still very them. And I loved this album so much. And then I also had Trey's Born as one of my albums. Like, this was the first one of the year that I went like, whoa, this is really good. And yeah, like you said, I was preaching about it in the Discord. Like, everyone was like, who is this? I'm like, just listen to it. Like, just like, don't worry about it. Listen to it. And then like a week later, people will be like, oh my gosh, have you guys listened to this Trey album? Like, are you kidding me? Like, I've been talking about it for a month now. And my last one's like kind of a surprise, and it's a bit of a bold statement, I think. But I actually did put Red Velvet's Ribbon Festival.
I almost put it on.
I wasn't going to because it just came out, and I'm like, there's a recency bias.
But it's first half.
Like, yeah, like when I compare it to even just their past mini albums, I'm like, this is, I think, one of their strongest. I know Discord really disagrees with that, but I'm just gonna wait. You know, months from now, they're gonna be like, yeah, it's one of their best ones, and I'll be like, I told you. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't have the nostalgia of their other ones, but like, give it time. I think this one's really, there's not a bad song unless you don't like Zimzelevin on this album. And
I think it
might just be
one of their best.
It might just be my Red Velvet bias that me putting it on my list, but whatever.
Yeah, I almost put it on, but it felt weird to put a 9.5 on, and it's only a 9.5 because of Zimzelevin. Like, that album, I think, is one of their best albums. It's just the title track. Chorus ruined it a little bit for me.
You just gotta listen to it a bunch of times, and it gets better. Yeah, like I always tell this to people, and I feel like it's not like
myself with it.
Yeah, I just listen to it like enough times where like you stop hating it because you start getting.
That's usually what happens with those songs. Like that's how Kill This
Yeah.
Love and Everglow, like I ended up liking them.
Because it
Is I just
doesn't sound like as extreme. Like once you
yeah,
just
exactly.
know,
Once you know it's coming, it's not as harsh. Yeah, I
it
that's how
just
you
like
get over those songs.
it begins to like make sense, and then you just find yourself just like shouting along with it, and you're
Yep.
having a great time.
Yep.
So
So yeah, I might end up liking it, but right now it's still a little just I don't know.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cooper's favorite albums, he said were Haze, She's Fine, Luna XX, and AT's Treasure Episode 2.
Bold.
I can dig it. Treasure's great. The whole series has been great. Okay, we're gonna get to our biggest surprises now. So 2.5 of mine aren't really music related. They're just industry related. My first one's kind of general, and so it's basically just debuts. I think there've been a lot of great debuts this year. We have Bandit, Everglow. I like Itzy. I know a lot of people. Itzy's divisive, but I like Itzy a lot. Cherry Bullet, One Us, One We, TXT. Like there's just been a lot of really good debuts, and it's only the first half of the year. And so that's the 0.5 of it's music related, because obviously the music quality is good. But just
Way to
overall the
not
debuts.
mention Trey, but yeah.
Trey's like they're not. I don't. Trey's one of those where like I don't even think of them as like a K-pop group. They're just like
yeah, they
like,
are different.
They're like PLT and stuff. Like I don't lump them in with the idol. They're not idol. It's not an idol group. And I was just listing idol groups. I mean, maybe they are. I don't really know. I'm like Baron. I don't really know much about them. I know they're a trio of dudes that put out a really good album.
A trio of dudes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I was just thinking like idol groups, but there've just been so many good debuts. So that was definitely a surprise for me. Second surprise, something we talked about last week, is YG finally leaving YG. I never thought it would happen. It finally happened. Thank the Lord. It took the most ridiculous year of scandals and things to take him down, which sucks. But it happened, and that's definitely a biggest surprise to me. Like I didn't think he would leave the company. I thought he would run it into the ground until it was dead. So the fact that he actually left, whether he can still control it from behind the scenes with his shares and stuff, who knows, but the fact that he stepped down from the company itself is surprising. And then my third is one that you guys, I feel like a lot of people might have forgotten about, but it is Persona, the IU Netflix series.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was a very big surprise that came out. I was like, wait, there's this weird 4-part miniseries TV show with IU on Netflix where she's doing these weird artsy things, like individual stories. It was definitely a big surprise, and it was surprising that how good it was. I enjoyed it a lot. One of them, I remember we reviewed it, so you can check our reviews. I remember one of them was just okay, but the other 3 were really interesting. So yeah, those are my biggest surprises.
So I think mine are a little bit more closely music related. My first one is just like One Us the group, because as someone who like never followed boy groups before, to finding like a rookie boy group that like everything they put out I've loved, and like several of their songs are like on my favorite list. That was like hugely surprising to me that I could like a boy group this much. So totally in on that. My second one, also music related, is Wuji Sonyo's For the Summer mini. So I've been kind of trashing on them for a while in the Discord. And like I liked some of their songs. Some of the songs are pretty good. But like I remember in the rating, like my overall description for the group was that they don't have a single like top tier song, which I like was a big point against them. And then they come out with this EP where they have 2 songs on the same album that I would put that in that category. So they kind of like completely shifted my opinion on the group, and I've gone back and had to eat some crow and really develop a better appreciation for a lot of their earlier songs, which I realize are now better than I gave them credit for initially. So that one EP kind of changed my whole opinion on the group. And then my last one, which I think is very different than most people, at least my impression of most people is that I actually think this year has been quite good for K-pop in terms of release quality.
The beginning of the
So,
year
like,
was insane for
yeah.
quality.
So I have like I keep like advanced like tracking stuff on all the music I listen to, and I keep like running ranking lists of stuff. So on my like best of list for this year, I already have 38 songs, and for all of last year, I only had 47 total. So we're gonna
Wow.
like blow way past that this year. And then for
Unless the
albums,
second half is garbage.
it's just really bad. And then for albums, the same thing. So for all of 2018, I only had 12 total, and of those, only like 7 are K-pop. The other 5 are like Yuna and Kim Sung Kyu, like things that I wouldn't really consider K-pop, but like adjacent to K-pop.
Mhm.
This year, I already have more than that. I already have 13 on my list, and
Wow.
of those, like 10 are straight K-pop. So we're gonna like triple the amount of if it continues at the current rate, like triple the amount of albums I consider like best of the year. So I've actually been quite pleased with the quality of releases so far.
Yeah, you could add on to your first one a little bit and just make it about getting into guy groups in general, because we got you into Monsta X too.
That's very true. Actually, you're right, because you knew I always liked the banger songs, and I never really appreciated them. So I went through their whole discography, and I was like,
And
oh man, these songs are
it's
lit.
like
They're so good.
95% bangers. It's great.
You should look into SF9 then. They've got some bangers.
Yeah, that's on my next on my list. We'll check that out.
Yep. Sam, what about you?
Yeah. Okay. My one surprise I had was the amount of US tours we've gotten this year is like incredible. I mean, Oh My Girl was like insane. That was a huge surprise to me because I had just gotten into Oh My Girl when they announced that. I mean, it was announced last year, but it happened this year. And like of all the girl groups to get a US tour, like Oh My Girl just seems so weird. Like they got one before Twice did, and Red Velvet. So yeah, getting Oh My Girl, getting Red Velvet. Then there's just so many other ones like ATEEZ came, TXT is coming, or they came, and like
Twice is coming up.
Yeah, Twice is coming. GOT7's coming again. Monsta X is coming again. BTS, whatever. But like the usuals are still coming back, but so many more we're getting, especially like getting more girl groups.
Yeah.
Like I want, like that's why I'm so happy. Like Oh My Girl. Yes, give me.
I think it'll actually happen, because Starship's been making so much money with Monsta X tour, like the past 3 years in a row they've been touring here. Like I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see Uju Sony on the next year or two.
And they're getting bigger too.
Oh yeah, they're getting way bigger.
That leads into my second biggest surprise is like the groups that are getting wins now. Like Uju Sony getting 4 wins with Boogie Up. Like they went from getting like their first win, like getting 1 like on the show, to now getting 4. And Oh My Girl as well. They were getting, like 1 win per comeback since Secret Garden.
Would have more if BTS wasn't still eligible somehow.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So bullshit. That song came out more than 2 months after they won, or before they won, and Uju Sony almost won, but they're still eligible. It's so frustrating.
It's like some of these other groups, like ATEEZ got their first win.
ATEEZ got their first one.
Stray Kids got theirs. Like I just think there's some groups that I'm very surprised with how much they're getting their wins, and some of the bigger groups, like SM groups, aren't doing as well, which is kind of interesting to see.
Except for Red Velvet, now this album's blowing up somehow.
Yeah, hopefully they'll get their wins, because they didn't get anything with RBB. Because they didn't get anything with RBB, which was that was just a dark year or dark month for SM. With like the amount of SM comebacks and like the little amount of wins they got.
Yeah.
And then my last biggest surprise was just Twice in general this year. I think they've really stepped up. I think one of the biggest complaints with Twice is people thinking they just like aren't changing it up enough. And I thought this mini that they had this year, Fancy was really good. I don't think Fancy itself is really that much of a concept change, or it's a concept change.
Yeah, it's not concept much change with the song. Yeah, the song concept change. Like there's some parts of the song that's a concept change, but overall,
the chorus is still very much
the chorus is still Twice chorus.
It's like very formulaic at this stage.
Yep. But like the mini itself, I thought was very good. I think Twice minis have just been really getting good. Like very surprising because I used to kind of think of Twice as not a good album group,
Yeah.
but I'm slowly starting to realize, okay, no, actually they do have some really good B-sides, like even on their older stuff.
Oh yeah,
But the recent ones,
I've
the
always
recent
loved
ones
their
are
albums.
overall like very good.
Yep.
And then even their Japanese songs I thought were good because Twice Japanese songs have been like
for
all
a while,
misses.
yeah, there were misses. There was a
Except
couple.
for BDZ. I love BDZ.
There was
I don't
one.
like-
Their second one, I think, was really good. I can't remember what it's called, because there was, yeah, one of their like first ones was really good, but the rest were not great.
Yeah,
And then,
but it's like
BDZ is great.
like Breakthrough is like actually the concept change. Like that song is not a typical Twice song, and it's really good. Like, not that Twice songs aren't also really good, but this is like great to see them do this change and actually be successful in it. So yeah, I'm very Twice overall very looking forward to what else they can do. We'll see though.
Yep. Cooper didn't leave surprises or anything, so we're done with him. Get out of here, Cooper.
We're done with him.
with you. So we'll move on to the one negative portion of the topic, which is our biggest disappointments. And the first two of my disappointments actually match up with the first two of my surprises. So my first one is disbandments. Obviously Pristine was, I knew it was coming, but it hurt a lot. And then also Hello Venus and Nine Muses disbanding this year. Two groups I really loved from like second gen, like older groups that put out great music, and I felt never got the recognition they deserved. So them finally just giving up sucked. Especially with the Nine Muses recent stuff, like the 4-member group, like was so good. And it just sucked that they still couldn't get that recognition. And then Hello Venus has kind of just been floating around in the ether for a few years now. I think their last release was the beginning of 2017. Yeah. So it wasn't surprising, but it sucked. And then, but Pristine was obviously the biggest one, with just out of nowhere a group that did so well, and Pledis just doesn't know how to manage multiple groups, so it just fell apart. And then my second one, like I said, also matches my biggest prizes, and that's just the Burning Sun scandal stuff in general, like how pervasive it was, how horrible it was. It just never, like, you know, if you follow the K-pop industry, you know there's shady, bad stuff happening, but nobody expected it to be to this level and this, like, horrible, just disgusting level of things that popular idols that everyone loved were doing. Like, it wouldn't have surprised, like, obviously it would have been a disappointment, but it wouldn't have made this list if it was just like people at the companies, like executives and stuff.
Yeah,
that wouldn't have, like, that would have been horrible, but it would have been almost I don't want to say expected, because like I don't want to expect that ever, but like it wouldn't have surprised me. But the fact that like the idols themselves were doing this, so many idols are involved in this, and the horrible
it was just
things
so heartbreaking doing.
Yeah, exactly. And like even the, like, thinking about how that affects their group members and the people that didn't know, like Hongi, like his whole reaction to his bandmate being part of this was just like, he was just done with them, and like it just sucks that he has to go through that stuff. So yeah, that was obviously a huge disappointment. And then my third one's a little more lighthearted, and it sounds probably harsher than it is, but it's fitting with this week. It is Red Velvet's singles this year, because was RBB this year?
No. It was the end of last year.
Okay. Well, I included it because I was thinking it was this year. But just in general, recently, with like RBB, I've grown to like it more, but it was like they've been going downhill for their singles compared to everything else. So that's kind of disappointment with like.
So they have to come up. That's what I'm telling people.
It's the roller coaster that they're on.
They're
in the
going so far
slope.
this way. They got to come back.
So yeah, I had to. I was just like, I was so excited for more Red Velvet because they've never let me down, and granted, the album did not let me down.
So you're just letting yourself down. They did great.
The single let me down. So I'll end it on a light note. But yeah, that's it for me. A light note.
This actually goes directly into mine because my first disappointment is Red
Red
Velvet
Velvet. Yes.
And I actually really liked RBB. I didn't like it like the first time I heard it,
Yeah.
but it grew on me a lot over
It's
time.
grown on me too.
And then like I really liked Sappy this year, even though that's a really weird
I haven't
song.
listened to Sappy.
Oh, you
What?
haven't listened to what?
Sappy's so good.
It's sitting right next to me, and
Sappy is so good.
the
Yeah,
album
it's-
is sitting right next to me, and I haven't listened to it.
It's quite good, so you should definitely listen.
Or
to
wait,
it. But
maybe I have because it came out a long time ago, right? The
Yeah.
Like
album just came out.
February or
Oh, then I
something.
did listen because we listened to it for releases. Sorry, I just keep
it came
thinking
out
it's
as
a new
single, and then,
song.
like, they put it
But
on.
you
yeah,
probably
it's-
haven't heard
it's-
Swimming Pool.
I have not
Swimming
listened to
Pool's
the
really good.
album tracks.
Yeah.
There's only like 2.
Are there?
The rest are
I
Japanese
paid
versions.
a bunch for 2 songs.
Sayonara and Swimming Pool, and then
Oh yeah,
Japanese
Peekaboo,
versions.
Rookie, and Power Up. Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's a DVD, so that's what I paid for.
So it was kind of disappointing only because like every other Red Velvet title track was so good before.
Yeah.
It's just kind of disappointing.
Just wait, you guys will love it in like a few months. I'm telling you.
I hope
I'm
so. I don't think so,
Yeah.
but I hope so.
And then my next two aren't like necessarily disappointing, just that they could be better. My first one is that Taeyeon came back with a Japanese mini instead of a Korean full album, because My Voice is my all-time favorite album and Time Lapse is my all-time favorite song. So I was really hoping we could like get a second like part 2, like
Yeah.
bring
And
some of that.
She also only had she had a single earlier too with 4 Seasons and Blue.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So she had like, I really wish she'll, at some point I hope she comes back with a full Korean album again. Because
She has songs.
yeah, I mean she's been performing songs at concerts that we haven't heard yet. So
Yeah.
I'm optimistic, but not overly optimistic. But that's my second one. And then my third one was that it's really disappointing that I was not yet an OMG fan when they toured, because I realize now like I'm probably never gonna be able to see them because they're most likely never gonna come back. And I only missed the window by like 4 months or whatever. So I really wish that I had seen the light beforehand. That way I could have participated when they came here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
best concert ever. Oh,
yeah, I kind of regret not going either, but too many.
they didn't
too
make it
many-
easy.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
definitely didn't make it easy.
Yeah, I have no regrets with that. I did it like the best way possible. I'm so happy. I hope they come back though. If they come back for like KCON LA, I'll be really upset. But I want them to come back for like an actual tour again and do
Yeah,
it
yeah.
right, and not whatever mess that was this year. But for my disappointments, I also had disbandments. I specifically had EXID's disbandment, and
Wait, did
I
they disband?
They
Did I
just
miss this?
you missed
Yeah.
that with their last comeback.
Wait, what?
Was their
Yeah.
goodbye? Yeah,
Oh,
we
I
even.
didn't know that
Oh,
at
way to
all.
not listen to our review.
No,
Because you
yeah,
would
like
have
that
known
was
this
kind
if
of
you thought.
that was like their goodbye song, which I
Yeah.
thought was not good.
No, yeah,
But yeah,
it was a really bad.
I forgot.
They're
some
doing
of
the
them are
whole
saying-
thing where it's not
Yeah.
a disbandment because 2 of them like Hani and Jungwoo left.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Left the company. But they're
Yeah.
doing the whole thing like, oh, we can come back and we'll do a comeback.
Oh, yeah.
Like even
And
though
I
we're
have
not in the
faith
same
in
company,
them.
and every group is saying that nowadays.
But,
And the
like,
only one I think
EXID
it'll actually happen to is SNSD.
I was gonna say that's never gonna happen for SNSD.
It's the only one.
EXID
They'll do it.
EXID like has an actually like really strong relationship, and that so I have faith in that. Like they seem so close. Like every time they've been on variety shows, whatever, they seem like they actually could get back together to do something. But like I highly doubt it. If it does happen, it's going to be years from now. But I'm really excited to hear, like an LE solo. I know Nate will hate it, but I'll love it. And like just to see what the members do. But it's still really sad that they're done. Like it hurts.
Yeah.
Another disappointment I had was Chen's solo debut. I thought it was like it was everything I didn't want it to be, because like Chen is like the main vocalist of EXO. I mean, EXO has amazing vocalists, but Chen is like really good, and I really wanted him to just have kind of like an edgy rock sounding album. And obviously we did not get that. It is ballad after ballad after ballad, and it's just so disappointing because I mean ballads are fine, but these ballads are just ballads. And just really SM solos in general are kind of disappointing me lately because I know they have the potential to be good. Like Taeyeon's amazing. Like her solo career has been phenomenal. And her debut wasn't a ballad. So why do they keep making all these other ones ballads? So I really hope his solo career goes better. I'm hoping Baekhyun's is better. I'm thinking he might not go the ballad route because he's maybe got like more of a personality or like a presence to do more. But I have no idea. It'll be interesting to see what the EXO members do because I think EXO's pretty much done. I think it's safe to say.
Yeah.
And then my last disappointment, it's not really a disappointment necessarily for me, I guess, because I didn't care. It sounds really bad. But I didn't have high expectations, but I said the 101 members debuts post 101. I think they've all been pretty disappointing. And especially not having Daniel yet. Like him and Ong are like the only ones I really, really care about. Not that I don't care about the other members, but they're my favorites. They're the ones I want to follow, and they're doing nothing. And I like.
Hey, Ong had that Pepsi song with.
Yeah, I don't think I listened to it.
He put out a song. He's your favorite. You're complaining he's not putting out music. He puts out songs.
Because he's not doing like an actual like.
Well, yeah, it's part of the like Starship Pepsi project thing that Una and Ravi and Ujumiki.
I liked that one, but Ujumiki's and like the other ones, like they're all doing solo. They all did solo stuff, which I hate it because it's like.
Except for Ab 6, which was not great.
And then that's a whole other like I remember when they put out that Hollywood song first, which I know was in their debut, and we had heard the song before.
It was their pre-debut song, like because it was
made me hate them. Like, and I'm really not looking forward to it.
I'm not looking forward.
It'll be my bathroom break.
Although it's true that when you hear those songs live, they make you like them more.
I understand
that's how
that.
like Jacob got into NCT, finally saw like all those songs live and was like, okay, they're really good actually. But I do agree. I'm not gonna like, I'll jam out to them probably, but I do not like those songs.
Yeah.
Because there's another one that's like a sequel to Hollywood. I don't remember what the name was on the album.
God. I don't think I listened to the album.
It's not good.
That's what I heard. So I was like, I was already turned off by
listen to their debut.
One.
The actual song they picked for a debut was good. It's just the rest of the album was not good.
I think I listened to it and I couldn't tell you anything about it. So that's probably my impression of it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the other ones. I think Jihoon, Wink Boy.
I don't know.
He's the only one I think that was like kind of decent. I know a lot of people in the Discord really loved it, but once again, I'm like, I don't know.
Was that
I was hoping
love
for better.
song? Like L-O-V-E? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then what was it like? Jisung had ballads. Jin Young's had a solo thing, but now he's in a group. But the group hasn't debuted yet. So we'll see how that is. I don't know the 101 members like well enough to like kind of go down the line of like who's done what, but nothing's really stood out. Newest had the best post 101.
Newest doesn't count.
Because that was amazing. I loved Bet was it?
Yeah. That's really good.
Yeah,
they did the best
post 101. That almost
101.
made it on my album of the year list. Well, it's really good.
It's funny because Newest, like the 101 situation is like so much the opposite of the IOI situation, where Newest mirrors the IOI situation more, where like during IOI all the companies just wanted to rip their members out and start their groups as soon as possible to capitalize on the popularity. So we got Gugudan, we like Ujusona already existed before Yeonjung was added to it, but yeah, we got like Yeonjung added to Ujusona. We had like Gugudan debut like very quickly, Wikimiki, like all those groups debuted so quickly because the companies were like wanted to capitalize, where it seems like 101's just been such a mess, and like who knows what the plans are, and like only some of them have debuted.
I just hate that they're all doing solo stuff. Like I wanted groups. But
yeah, all of IOI went into groups except for Somi, and she was gonna be in a group with JYP. Well, and Chungha, but Chungha needed to be solo. She's too powerful. She would have just like destroyed any group she was in. Like if you put Chungha in Bandit, like Nobody cares
yeah.
about Bandit except for Chang'e, so like it was
Yeah.
smart for them to separate them. So
Yeah, that was it.
okay, so then we got our one looking forward to. Mine's something that's happening very quickly, and if you've been in Discord or just talking to me lately, is something I've had my mind on recently, which is Yuna's comeback. I've been in a Yuna kick hardcore lately. I decided to buy her most of her discography, everything I could find, a couple days ago. And she's doing a comeback, and I like we've talked about the past couple of weeks because Baron's been on. Like her last album, Rescue, was amazing.
Fantastic.
And all of her music's amazing. She just has these really long breaks. So it's nice to finally get something new from her, which is coming up in a couple weeks. So I'm excited.
So mine's a little bit aspirational, maybe. I really hope we get a full IU album because
Yeah, that would be great.
the last time we got one was, again, like I mentioned earlier, Palette, which is like, I think it came out actually like yesterday in 2017, like April 21st or 2nd.
Yeah.
So it's been like a long time since we got a full IU album, and she had like the Flower Bookmark, but that's like a remake album of other songs.
She hasn't even had a real like album release. She just had the remake. Yeah,
so she's only released like one piece of music in the last like 20 months or whatever it has been. So I really hope we get a full IU album because she hasn't put out a single bad one yet.
Okay, my thing I had is I'm actually really looking forward to the continuation of the Reva Festival, bringing Red Velvet into like everything, but because this is supposed to be like a series thing.
Yep.
So I really am excited to see how they continue it.
I am too, because the album was fantastic. I just hope the single is
and I like the
less
concept.
crazy.
I hope they like continue.
Yeah, the concept's good
this
too.
amusement park thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so that's it for topic 4. Let us know your favorite albums, favorite songs, surprises, disappointments, what you're looking forward to in the comments. And that is it for episode 126. Good job, guys. We cut an hour off of our time from last week. This is only 2 hours. It's only been 2 hours long. We did 2 reviews in the time it took us to do ATEEZ's review last week. So yeah, that's it for episode 126. If you enjoyed listening to it, like the video, subscribe, click the bell, follow us on Spotify, review us on iTunes, and of course join Discord, because that's a great place to hang out with us, talk with us, do fun stuff like song ratings. And you can talk with Sam and Baron and tell them why they were right or wrong about things. And you can also talk with Jacob, Andrew, myself, and Cooper, and complain about our stuff too, because that's always fun. It's fun to come in and yell at people for their opinions, but in a nice way. Don't be serious about it, but it's fun to do it. So yeah, any last things with you guys?
No.
Stream Valkyrie.
Throbbingly stream Valkyrie.